I think it's safe to say that Cinderace has had some very interesting cards in the Pokemon TCG. Cinderace EX, for example, is a very strong Stage 2 Terra-type Pokemon with 2 very powerful attacks. And many people have indeed tried to tackle this card with different combos throughout its legality in the standard format. Unfortunately though, the attacks were just too costly to be committing to a Stage 2 Pokemon. But with one single card that was sitting right under our noses, maybe this problem could be solved. Cinderace, or Baby Cinderace as many would call it because it's not an EX card from the Mega Evolution set, is actually quite synergetic with its EX counterpart. Due to its explosiveness ability, which allows you to just put it in play during setup, no evolution required, and its Turbo Flare attack doing 50 damage and accelerating 3 energy into play, so I'm sure you can see how that works. So not only can you fully charge up Cinderace EX using both attacks, but also fix maths to knock out cards like Charizard EX, as 50 plus 280 is 330. And so in this discovery I made, I am setting myself the task to build the best possible version of this deck I can build, taking you on that journey as we hopefully end up with a deck that satisfies that goal. And speaking of goals, I think it would be fun if throughout this video we had some other goals to achieve. Let's call them side quests. So stay tuned to the end to see if we do indeed achieve them. But of course, we need to establish those goals, so how about we do that? So I will be setting 3 of them. Number 1 being take a 1-hit knockout with Flare Strike. Number 2 being take 2 knockouts on the bench with Garnet Volley. And number 3 being a very difficult one, win a game without giving away any prize cards. For those that are concerned, no, I won't be throwing games to achieve this goal. Now with that covered, let's get to the deck building. Oh, and if you could leave a like and subscribe to show your support for all the work I'll put into these videos, it really would be appreciated. Okay, seriously now, let's build. Starting off, I add 4 Baby Cinderace and 3 Cinderace EX. I then add 2 Reboot and 4 Score Bunny. And at this point, I consider what angle I'm going to take. And because of Cinderace's explosiveness ability, the more basic Pokemon you have in your deck, the least likely you are in starting it in the active spot. So instead of adding more basics, I get straight into considering fire support available, and with nothing of worth, I then decided to add the energy count, 4 of each energy that Garnet Volley required, to give myself more time to think about this deck list. And with energy, of course you need to find it, so I then added 2 Earthen Vessel and 4 Arven, as of course it finds item cards. After which I added 4 Lily's Determination, 4 Poffin, and 4 Rare Candy. And although I still wasn't sure on the way I wanted this deck to play, I kept adding cards, like 2 Ultra Ball and 1 copy of Terra Orb to find Cinderace without having to discard 2 cards from my hand. And then it hit me. I knew exactly what I was going to do from here. So I went back and added a 3rd Reboot and searched for the A-spec of this deck, Grand Tree. You see, the plan was, instead of relying on needing 2 cards in my hand, that in Rare Candy and Cinderace EX, I instead relied on 1 card in my hand, that being Colress, a card that allows you to search for a stadium and an energy card. To me, it just seemed much more reliable to find Grand Tree and Evolve than to have 2 cards in play, that being the Rare Candy and Cinderace, without any support Pokemon in play. And although Grand Tree could be prized or removed from play the following turn, I thought the trade-off of increasing the odds of getting Cinderace EX out turn 2 was a must in a format as punishing as this one. So I cut Rare Candy down to 2 to free up space and added 3 Colress's Tenacity. Now, of course, I need to find Colress, so I added 4 Pokegear, then followed up with 2 copies of Boss's Orders, increasing my Reboot count to 4 to ensure maximum Grand Treeage, and began looking at stadiums to include, given we are playing 3 Colress, of which I added 1 Rocket's Watchtower to help against Noctowl decks, and 1 Pokemon League Headquarters to help against early Dragapult and basic attacking decks. With 2 cards left, I added Recovery in the form of 2 Night Stretcher, giving us our first draft. And with the completion of this first list, I think it's time we get to testing. Test number 1, baby, with this Cinderace deck. I am so curious as to how this version is going to play. I low-key just threw it together, but that's always what I do when I build decks. I just throw an idea together and I see what comes out the other side. I don't want to take a mulligan. I want to start this Cinderace. And I'm already thinking, Colress, with 3 Colress in this deck, I really should have added an Artisan, because basic search is very minimal, so being able to just grab Artisan with Colress would make this so much better. I already got Tree, though, and we do get a mulligan. Oh my god! Alrighty, sure thing. As our opponent starts a Monkey Dory, have no idea what I'm up against here. They do start with a Pokegear, only for a boss's orders. I'm expecting a pass. I know this kind of play. Nope, it's an attachment first for a Psychic Energy. So this is probably just Gardevoir then? And they throw a charge. This is Gardevoir, 100%. Yeah, okay, and they just pass up. Righto, let's go for double Puffin. What is going on? Is that too much? I think I need at least... No, do you know what? Let's try it out. Let's test out this, because I have no idea how this deck wants to play. I'm just vibing with it. Should I Colruyt now? Probably not. I am going to play Headquarters, though, because I still can Turbo Flare. And because my opponent probably isn't doing anything crazy, next turn, I can probably just straight Score Bunny EX next turn. Maybe get a Bench Snipe. This is looking intriguing. They go for a boss, though, and they're going to boss up this Score Bunny. That is going to be a little bit of a spanner for sure, because I do need an energy to retreat it. Or I could evolve straight into... Oh, wait. No, I don't think Arven gets me there still. I'll play the Arven, and I could just... Candy. Okay, I don't really have any tools in this deck, so I've got to remember that now for Arven. What am I looking for? Oh, Vessel, right? Wait. I've just won? Okay, sure thing. My opponent really bricked again. What is it if my opponent's bricking? I don't know, but I think this is pretty much a GG right off the bat. And that is looking crazy for an opener. Okay, so we need to have some sort of toolage going on, and also to add an Artisan. That's what we need to do. But very promising. Very, very promising. We're going to go straight into this. And my opponent should know that they've lost right now. They saw me play the Vessel, but I'll go straight in and Flare Strike for 280 damage. Let's make those quick changes. Well, that was a quick one. And yes, before you say anything, I did realize that I could have played Colruyt for an energy later on. And although that game does tick off the third goal of not giving away any prize cards, given that they didn't even play, it does feel a little bit cheap. So we're going to keep that goal alive. But you know what? I was feeling pretty good about this deck. And with a couple of changes, we could be onto something here. And with the first set of changes being made, I added one Artisan and cut 2 Puffins along with 1 Earthen Vessel, freeing up space for what was missing in this deck, tool cards. The tool of choice in this deck being Counter Game, due to the fact that this can reduce the attack cost of Flare Strike to 2 energy, and if you go behind on prizes, which is very likely considering you're attacking with Baby Cinderace first, you can distribute your energy much more evenly. So I added 2 copies of Counter Gain and cut 1 Stretcher to allow for 1 more Artisan, given 2 Puffin for basic search is cutting it thin, resulting in our second draft. So how about we get into another game? So test number 2, I think I'm going to do a few good tests here before I make any changes. So I will show this game, and then I will briefly brush through the other games that I test with this build to still get a good idea as to what might be needed. But not starting the Baby Cinderace this time around. This is typically a bad scenario for a deck like this. However, we are of course playing a Cinderace deck, so it's not actually that big a deal. Badoo Frostlass. Okay, take me there. I'm going to attach an energy for turn. Simply end. I can Colruyt for the tree. Hopefully it's not prize. If not, I can always Lily and try and just get a better board state. Maybe get to a point where I could eventually get one out. And no, it's not Badoo Frostlass. It is Grimmsnarl, which is a much more intimidating deck. Stay Buddy Puffin here after playing their Arven to get another Impidimp. We also know they have an air balloon in their hand because of said Arven. Item luck is online though, and I have to think about what I'm doing here. Do I just Colruyt into Baby Cinderace? Why does that feel bad? It feels like they will have Grimmsnarl next turn. And I'll also have nothing to charge up. However, it will put some early pressure on, and I can always go afterwards with a Lily. Okay, I'm going to try this out. Let's see. We'll go... Tree's not priced. Thank you for that. And I'll keep energy in the deck. Let's just straight up tree for now into Baby Cinderace. I could go to Cinderace EX, but I want to put a lot of pressure on my opponents because they appear to not be having the best of hands. So if I can do some early turbo flares, hopefully get a way to get a basic down. And there's the Puffin. So we did cut Puffin. I've got to think about this count a little bit because I have 2 Puffin and 2 Artisan. But if I want to keep tree in play, then, oh, no, they just straight into Grimmsnarl. All right. Okay, that's not good. We have obviously just straight up lost there. So from one instant win to an instant loss, I'm going to play a few more games with this build and see if I can come to a conclusion as what changes need to be made. In those 3 further test games I played, I managed to get a win against Charizard EX, lost to Mega Sharpedo, and won against a Gardevoir, learning even more so what changes need to be made, as I very much felt the loss of this very important card. And in cutting 1 Headquarters and 1 Artisan, I bumped Puffin back up to 4 copies. There was another problem though that I ran into with this deck, and it was all to do with energy. You see, when one Cinderace goes down and you don't have a follow-up, you're as good as done. Meaning I needed to add some more energy acceleration, and for that, I felt like Crispin was the perfect fit. Being able to accelerate energy of different types into play, it just made sense. So I cut 2 Arven and added 2 copies of Crispin. I also felt the need for another Night Stretcher, so I added 1 more copy, cutting a Reboot in the process, giving us an even more refined version of this deck list, version 3 to be precise. And you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna get into some games. Starting a Score Bunny on the test here for the 3rd variant. That is just the nature of the deck, not anything based on the build. Seeing these makes me think of a Grimmsnarl, and that scares me because we got bodied very early on by a Grimmsnarl. But alas, the game must go on. There's a Spikemuth. I'm instantly going to bounce that with the hopes that my opponent doesn't really have any follow-up afterwards as they get an Impidimp, and they will throw that bad boy down. They do attach to the Monkey Dory as well. And here we pray. Do you know what? I'm going to use that Spikemuth for a deck check. How about that? We have the tree. We are lacking 2 fighting energy. That's good to know. A couple boss's orders as well, I think. All right, that's okay. We instantly play Buddy Poffin, that's for sure. And here's the thing. I don't think Artisan is the move. I think I Rocket Watchtower. I think I Lily. Arven's not going to get me anything. I don't play TM Evo. So I really just want to Lily into a bigger hand. And that's a hand. That's definitely one of the hands of all time. I think attaching an energy here is just a bad idea. Unless I get Iono'd, in which it may not be. I think I'm just going to end turn. I can Chorus for the tree next turn. I'm a little worried about my opponent using tree on Grimmsnarl, but they need to evolve into it from hand to use its ability. And given my opponent has no idea what I'm doing, they're not going to anticipate a Grand Tree, I would expect. There's a secret box though, and that just instantly gets some Grimmsnarl. Okay, this is going to get very, very turbo very quickly. As they discard 3 cards there, they're going to get themselves another Spikemuth Candy. Secret box was made for Grimmsnarl, wasn't it? So what I want to do here then is make sure they don't boss me next turn. That's what I've got to hope for, right? As I will probably go with a baby Cinderace with the Colrose move, ping 50 onto the Grimmsnarl, accelerate to a bench Score Bunny, and hope they don't bust me. That's basically it. Well, we've seen what they got with that secret box, and it was a Candy, Air Balloon, Lily, and a Spikemuth. But wait, they don't get the Grimmsnarl. Oh, they're playing the slow game, huh? They're gonna TM Evo? All right, okay. That makes me feel a little bit better, but with that said, it means they're going to be ultra consistent here as they also go into Frostlass, something I'm not even bothered about. Granted, it does give them some damage on the Monkey Dories, but we can snipe them if we want to. I can also just snipe the Frostlass if it comes to it. Okay, so I think I have to just go for Grand Tree here. My opponent's not going to get use out of it anyway. They probably don't have a Stadium Bounce for next turn. Although, no, they have Lily, so maybe they do. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go straight for it into a baby Cinderace. Hopefully the tree sticks so I can get another Cinderace out nice and easily. But in any case, let's just tree up here. And I'm a bit sad that they didn't get a Grimmsnarl out now so the Frostlass could chip away and I can maybe get one at KO with Flare Strike. We're losing a lot of damage output here with this build. So maybe I'd do another variant that has higher damage output instead of going for tree. But nonetheless, let's go for a tree into the baby Cinderace. Is what we call it baby, by the way, because it's not an EX. I know I'm full of surprises with my fun facts. Turbo Flare. Now, I don't want to overcommit because they could boss. They could boss. It could happen. So I'm going to put 2 here and 1 here. And if tree sticks, at the very least, that is going to be a Cinderace, and I can either smack into a Grimmsnarl or snipe a Monkey Dory or something. We don't know. I think, though, sniping monkeys might be the way because that's what makes Grimmsnarl so good. So I need to make sure I pick the correct route here, which is easier said than done. They go for a Morgrim, and they do go straight into Grimmsnarl off that Lily. Thankfully, because I'm not taking a KO, they don't have counter catch or anything like that. So those bench Score Bunnies are likely safe, which does feel good. They go for an Adrenabrain here. Yeah, I need to take out these monkeys. That's how they're going to start winning. And oh my God, I didn't even think about... Wait, can they snipe this? Oh my God, are they going to snipe my... Oh, bro, this is why Grimmsnarl is just too much, man. It's got too much going on. All right, so what's the game plan now? I've just been absolutely destroyed again by Grimmsnarl. It's just... It is a menace. Do I need to play a Shaman? Do I have to play a copy of Shaman just to help with this matchup? Because that feels so bad. I don't know. We get instant candy, though. I like that. And I need to get counter game. I need counter gain in here. I really need to pull that one off. Let's tree first into another Cinderace. And I'm going to probably have to do Cinderace EX and rely on Crispins and the like. I could Crispin now, actually, if I get it off this. That would be kind of nice. Go on, Crispin me. Oh, we get it. Okay, hold on. So you're saying there's a chance. Yes, it's not a fighting. Oh, no, I can attach a fighting if I want to, can't I? Yeah, of course, I got it in hand. So do I snipe the monkeys? That's the question. Or do I just straight up hit Grimmsnarl? I don't think I hit Grimmsnarl. I think I snipe monkeys, right? Oh, I don't know, though. Okay, I think I'm gonna Garnet Volley, and I think I'm just gonna go for the monkey snipes as much as I can. I don't know though. It feels a bit rough. If I can get rid of these monkeys and keep Frostlass in play, maybe we can get to a point where we can get an Oko and a Grimmsnarl or something. But I'm missing damage output so much here. 280 is a number that just doesn't cut it because the meta is so stage 2 and mega heavy that the only Pokemon you're really getting a 1-hit KO on with that attack is Goldengo, and you're already hitting that for weakness. Yes, granted, you can take out some other single prize decks like Raging Bolt, but even Raging Bolt can avoid that damage with Ancient Booster Capsule. There's a lot to think about. They do get another Monkey Dory down anyway, so there's that. They are going to go for another Shadow Bullet most likely. Thankfully, we are bench protected, but that doesn't really do anything. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here excited about some measly bench protection, bro. I'm good. I am good. Let's do this. Let's Arven them and get ourselves that counter gain, because that could be something. And do I go for another Pokegear? No, I think I go for a Stretcher here. But then again, I really need another Crispin to keep going next turn. Oh no, counter gain keeps me going. So yeah, I'm going to get another Stretcher so I can get that fighting energy back, because we are lacking fighting. Let's throw that down. And maybe I just go for the monkey again. I don't know if this is the correct game plan. I'm still trying to figure out this matchup. But as it stands, I'm just kind of hoping for the best here. Let's just go for another Garnet Volley onto a monkey. And the thing is, this Grimmsnarl just isn't going down anytime soon. If I just had a simple black belt in this deck, then this could have been a much better matchup for us. But it's good to know now that we need damage modification. 280 just doesn't cut it. They go for an Arven here, and they grab themselves a Night Stretcher. They're going to recover Monkey yet again. And Lord, it's a shame that we've got a whole nother year with this card, but I cannot wait for Monkey to leave the format. It is the most gatekeep card out there. It just makes 1 or 2 decks absolutely broken, and it makes all the other ones wish they were it. You know, I could also add monkeys into this deck as well because we have Dark Energy. But again, we're whiffing, or potentially whiffing, sorry, those other Cinderaces. They're going to soften up this Cinder. They also did get a Shaman down. So no more Garnet Volleys. That's for sure. Oh, I could use an Iono right now as well. I really could use an Iono. Bring them down. Hopefully just get a big Flare Strike on them. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's go for a Gear. It's a Colress. Yeah, that's what happens when you play free Colress. Come on, give me an Iono, please. Oh, no. That is not what one wishes to witness, but one must move. Let's go for a Lily. And if anything, I mean, I could get another Score Bunny down. I mean, I don't think it actually changes much. Oh, okay. No, it's not there. Hello. That's why we play 2 Stretchers in this build. I upgraded the Stretchers for this situation. But I'm just going to Flare Strike. Maybe I should have done that at the start. I don't know, but they're just going to have so much more damage to move now. And I'm going to have to Grand Treat into a baby Cinderace, I think, just to be able to do something here. Hopefully take a KO, and if we get an Iono, maybe they whiff? Oh, I don't know. It's a big ask. Because I'm pretty sure they got a knockout here, right? Oh, wait, no, do they? I don't think they do have the KO here, actually. But the issue is now, because I don't have that fighting energy. Oh, no, I do. I can get Colress for that. Okay, that's fine. I was going to say I can't go for a Devolution. Oh, my God. I didn't see that coming. This deck has it all. It has it all. It's got everything. It's almost like it's a meta deck. Crispin! Oh, if I just had another counter gain, I would have actually been able to, like, do something here. Well, here we are, going into another Cinderace and basically doing nothing. Oh, no. Oh, I could use counter gain so much right now. Well. Again, I'm going to Crispin, okay? Our game plan here is to... Where's my Iono? Wait, I have Iono in this build, right? I don't play Iono? Uh-oh. Okay. Yeah, that's just an issue. Because I was hoping I can Iono them to 1 and they just don't get the Grimmsnarl. Maybe I can come back. But yeah, no Iono is a sin. That said, this tree is doing a lot of heavy lifting, though. That's for sure. So they move some damage away, bringing me even lower, down to 260 this time. And I'm wondering now how this game could have gone if I just went for Flare Strikes instead of trying to, like, take out the monkeys. Because they recovered it every turn, so it didn't really change much. Maybe I should have gone for more of a Flare Strike move, and we could have maybe got a win out of that. I don't know. But either way, we're going to go for... Well, we'll do a Garnet Volley KO. But let's let's be real. They do have Grimmsnarl for game. That's something that is just a guarantee. As we get a fighting and a boss from the prizes, they go for an Arven. If they just get a stretcher, we know that's that. Although their energy count is relatively low. They did get the stretcher with that Arven, but maybe they whiff on the energy front? If they do, we could actually still win. I mean, it's a big ask. They get another monkey. Oh, I see their game plan. Okay, no, they've got it now. Yeah, they can just triple monkey me. This is why, look, this is why monkey bad, okay? This is why monkey bad for game, because monkey make everything bad. I'm getting triple, but they're not even going for a swing. That card is ridiculous. All right, well, let's just scoop on that one. And I think we've learnt how flawed this deck can be sometimes. Let's see if we can maybe make a couple more adjustments and make it go a little bit better into that matchup. On the plus side, we did knock off one of the side quests, as all we did that game was basically Garnet Volley. Let's see if we get them all completed by the end. But back to our main objective, it's clear that this deck was lacking in both the damage and hand disruption department, causing us to get bodied by our new nemesis, Grimmsnarl EX. So I daringly cut Rare Candy to 1 and Colress to 2, adding 2 Black Belts training. I then added Defiance Band and cut 1 counter game. And in realizing I may need to play a supporter and Gust in 1 turn, I dropped 1 boss and added a counter capture just to test it out. Oh, and I kind of forgot to mention Iono. I did get rid of an Ultra Ball and a Lily and added 2 Ionos, so there you go. Hopefully this more aggressive yet risky build can bring in some results as we test our 4th draft of this deck. Another Score Bunny start. Oh, that's just the issue of this deck, eh? Sometimes you gotta run with the Score Bunny, and that's that. What are we playing against here? I see Azelf. Okay, we're playing a spread deck. That is unheard of in modern times, but allowed me to try and get out of this hand. I'm gonna go for a Terror Orb here, and I need to just be quick with this. So what my opponent is definitely playing here is Azelf and is it not Uxie? I think it does. I'm going to say Azumarill. What? Uxie, of course, being able to put 2 damage counters across the board. Frostlass, of course, amplifies that damage with its ability, being able to ping a damage between turns on any Pokemon that has an ability. And Azelf has the Neurokinesis attack where it can do 10 plus 10 more for each damage counter, I think, on the Pokemon you're hitting. Not on all of your opponent's Pokemon, so big boy attack. There's an Artisan coming in. Thankfully, we're not actually bothered by this even slightly, considering we have no abilities apart from baby Cinderace over here, and instant Colress feels nice off the top deck. And as long as we haven't prized the tree, we have a game. So let's go. Colress's Tenacity. Let's grab ourselves that, and I'll get another Fire, sure thing. And we shall evolve instantly into the stuff. But again, this is one of the issues I found. They're going to be able to use the tree themselves to get Frostlass out and work on those Monkey Dories, which it's a concern, you know, concerning legitimately to a degree, 100% for sure, but that's fine. We're well with it, and we'll go for a Turbo Flare here. And if anything, I think this is a great opportunity to really use Garnet Volley and just take out those Frostlasses so they can't get those Monkey Dories used up. That's the idea, at least. Let's do this. Now, one thing with this build, version 4 of this build, is a slight concern that I have for the lack of Colresses, although we did just instantly draw into one. This list is playing a lot of 2 of supporter cards, 2 Crispin, you've got like 2 Iono, you've got 2 Colres, and you're kind of like relying on Pokegear to find them. I think it might be better to rebalance the support account, because ultimately we really need to just find Colres and get Grand Tree out and going. So I feel like 3 Colres minimum has to be the case with this deck. Either way, it's worked out for us here as, whoa, we even have Rare Candy into Cinderace. But I think I'll save that Candy and just go into another Cinderace here. I think I'll go into Cinderace EX this time around. Can always retreat and accelerate again with Turbo Flare if it comes to it. But for now, I am going to be Garnet Volleying and targeting those Frostlass, because that's the one thing that's going to be a problem here. Let's see. Buddy Puff in there. Okay. As they Grand Tree themselves into another Frostlass. And now it would be nice to get another Colress so I can bounce the tree, you know, and be like, all right, you get no Frostlasses anymore. You're not evolving from my cards. You know what I mean? Either way, they do get some Adrenabrains off. They do just pass because they haven't got any attacks to use, which is nice. That's very nice to see. And you know what? I think I will go for a... Okay, no, I won't. Sure thing. All right, that's how it is. Let's just Garnet Volley into another Frostlass, remove some of that damage onto those Monkey Dories. And this is just going to be pretty much the way this game is likely going to pan out. And so if it's a win, I'm just going to skip to the points where I take KOs, they take KOs, and then we'll just go to the win and maybe see if there's another ace spec we could use in this deck. Oh, but wait, before I skip anything, they did pull off a Neurokinesis. You got to give it to them. I have to take this out now. That is a threat, more so than the Frostlass. So that's something I've got to consider right now. I am going to risk the Score Bunny, and I am just going to go for a Garnet onto the Azelf this time around. That got a little bit scary. I was planning to skip ahead, but they did manage to get a pretty big swing on me. As we do get ourselves a Crispin. Nice. And they will get an extra Frostlass, so they will be able to use those monkeys. But so long as I can get my Cinderaces following up, and that's where the Crispin inclusion is working out for us. Double Frostlass, though. That was the risk. I can still get 2 Cinderaces out and hopefully see through the game that way. They're going to go for an Adrenabrain, and Adrenabrain yet again onto the other Cinderace. And I'm curious. They're going to Mind Bend. Oh, I forgot this deck can do that. This deck's full of little tricks and little, you know, treats and that, innit? One could call it a Halloween deck. Either way, I'm just going to manually retreat, and that's going to be able to deal with that at least. Let's go for a tree. I did go down to 3 reboot, so that's an issue. That could have happened. I can go into Baby Cinderace again, but I don't want to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a Crispin, grab a fire, grab a fighting, accelerate the fire here, fighting onto the bench Score Bunny. I'm just going to manually retreat and take out this Monkey Dory. Yeah. Isn't it crazy? I build a version of the deck that wants to hit bigger numbers, and I don't need to hit them this game. But again, if it's a win, I will skip through unless something interesting happens. Oh, I knew there was a risk of this. I was sitting there thinking, oh my lord, they could go for a devolution, and they are very much within range to pop off with that. As they Iono me, uh-oh. I knew I was walking into this. I knew there was this risk, okay? But here's to hoping they don't get the energy. It's Super Rod. They recovering. Do they have Vessel? Or a singular out? Do they have it? Bear in mind, they did attach to the Uxie and go for the Iono, hoping for the best. As they move to the active, that's pretty damning. And Tour Scrapper comes in. I don't know, I'm getting excited about that. It does nothing. And if they pull it off, what do we even do? Like, what is the game plan? They scoop, okay. Oh, oh, that got a little bit scary at the end there. We all knew it was happening, but it still doesn't take away from how intense that can be sometimes. Okay, that was a little too close for comfort, but at least we did tick off another side quest as they took 0 prizes that game. And with one quick change, going down to 1 Iono and back up to 3 chorus counts, I hopped into my 8th test of this deck. We're getting very close to the final list now. I can feel it. Oh, and you wouldn't believe what deck we came up against. All right, this one was going to be just one of those test test games where I don't really do live commentary or anything like that. But we're playing against Grimmsnarl, and I want to see if we have been able to deal with it a lot better this time around. So let's see if we can take on the villain. I am actually going to go into double reboot here. My opponent is a little bit bricking. They did go for the TM Evo play that we typically expect to see. And Chorus here is actually worse off than an Arven. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to preemptively Arven here for Ultra Ball. I wanted Terra Orb, but that's fine. And a Defiance Ban. Let's attach here and then go for a Turbo Flare. And maybe we can get him quickly. That would be nice. But if not, that's also okay. As I will get a Fighting here, Darkness here, and Fire here. I would love to have put Darkness here, so I just need 1 attachment for each to attack. But that's not guaranteed next turn, so let's see how things pan out. They do need to get a Morgrim down. If not, we can do the very thing this deck is designed to do, which is punish very early on. And as they attach to the Morgrim, they're going to go for an Adrenabrain here. And we might be able to get a really good snipe in and take them down before they start actually doing anything. Even though I do want to see this deck play against Grimmsnarl to the bitter end, this still will be pretty cool. They do pass. That's very nice. Grand Tree, we don't want to give them that. I think I'm going to get rid of that Defiance Band. I know that's in here specifically for this matchup because it does hit free 10 men behind on prizes. And of course, with the Frostlass, it will take out a Grimmsnarl. But I still think Tree is more valuable in general. So let's just garnet volley that Morgrim and punish them for a bad start and get revenge on the Grimmsnarl, which has been absolutely haunting me this whole video. Oh, they do get a Spikemuth, but they do need to get another boy down. 1 Impy Dimp is not going to cut it. They do bench it. They do go for Adrenabrain, and I've got to be wary, okay? We did get punished by the devolution. Now, you could work around that with Mist Energy, I think, if you wanted to, but then you'd have to find the Mist Energy. Oh, Chorus finds it. Maybe a copy of Mist Energy for the devolution situation could be a consideration. I'll leave that one to you, though, as we do go in here. And I am sorry. I know I'm attaching a fire here where maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm not going to Iono. I'm not giving you the out, bro. You must be joking. You can every turn go for a Spikemuth, and I'll every turn go for a Garnet Volley. How about that? Oh, this feels so good. Sweet revenge. Terra Orb there as well. Not doing much for us, but it's nice to see a card. You know what I mean? Could be Ultra Ball fodder. Who knows? Oh, wait, no, I've used my 1 of Ultra Ball. Yeah, I'm waffling now. Let's see what they do. They Spikemuth again. And now what they could do is they could, if they get a... I was going to say get a Psychic Energy. they could be playing Luminous Energy and in turn charge up this, but they go for an Arven. Now the games begin, as they're going to be getting another Impidimp down for sure, at which point, probably best for me to take out Frostlass. If they're guaranteed Grimmsnarl, Frostlass was a big issue before, charging up those monkeys, so I think taking out Frostlass is probably the move. They're going to go for a balloon, though. But they didn't. They got candy? Oh, no. What is going on? So the same thing happened in a Blastoise video, where instead, like, you know I can Garnet Volley here. What's going on? And this is Master League. I don't know what to say, man. My opponent is grossly misplaying. Like, I don't know. Unless they were out of Impidimps. Maybe they priced Impidimp. Oh, no. I think that's much more likely than a misplay. But wouldn't you also go for an evolution shout? Unless they also prize, and that would be terrible prizing. But also deserved, because I deserve this. Okay, Garnet Volley. Let's take out that Impidimp, and let's see if they did prize it or not. If they Spike Myth here for another Impidimp, then yeah, I don't know, bro. Surely, if you're in the Master League, if you've played enough on the ladder to get here, granted, it's not the hardest achievement in the world to get to Master League, but still, getting there, you need to know how to play the Pokemon card game, and yeah, they've prized it. They 100% prized it, because you know you can't bench a one Pokemon when I'm sniping them. That is 101. I think a toddler could figure that one out, especially playing a deck like this. Although, let's be real, misplays do happen. People do miss those things, but in this case, it wasn't that. In this case, they definitely just prized Impidimps, and we just ping them off one by one. Like, it is nobody's business, and I am next targeting that Frostlass. We do have, at the very least, a Flare Strike next turn if things go really wrong and they somehow pull off a Devolution, which will KO both those Cinderaces. But I think even then, we're pretty much okay. Fighting Energy here, and this is just so sweet. Look at it. A deck that was dismantling us is now being dismantled. Karma is a real funny thing, isn't it? And what's hilarious, I haven't even used any of the techs for this matchup in this one. This is quite funny, as they do Spike for a Grimmsnarl. You gotta give it to them. They're going to the very end. They're going to the very, very end as they concede. And I'm going to show as well, this isn't no paid actor nonsense. I don't do none of that stuff, all right? Behave. It is against this Donnie. I'm going to click continue, and by this symbol, you can tell it was on the Master League. On the lower end of the 1500 range, but that, yeah. And with the 9th test game being a convincing win against Typhlosion and the 10th being a very close loss against the same deck, I made one slight change by cutting one stretcher to squeeze in Xerosic's Machinations for the Alakazam matchup. Considering these changes are so small, I decided to leave the testing at 10 games, resulting in a record of 6 wins and 4 losses. Sadly, we did not meet the first side quest of this video, however, it was nice to achieve the other 2, so I'll take that as a win. Here is the final deck list for you to try out for yourself, but before you do, could you please leave a like, subscribe, and if you want to support me financially, because sadly these videos don't make the most amount of money, then becoming a member would be a huge help. But with that all said, take care.